How's it going, YouTube? Dom here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the topic, are coding interviews broken? So I've been doing a lot of leak code and I'm talking to a lot of people in the industry, and this is a conversation that's gone up again and again. And I'm going to base this on personal experience as well as through the eyes of the people in the industry that I'm connected with. So if you're not aware of how coding interviews work, typically you get one of two things. You either get a take-home project where they'll tell you to do like a small project or something like that, and you have, say, 48 hours to finish it. It takes about a weekend. Or you have the traditional data structures and algorithms, right? So I've had experiences with both. You know, when I interviewed for LinkedIn, and I've interviewed for TikTok, and I'm interviewing for Expedia soon, so I'm very familiar with the data structures and algorithms part of it. And I've also interviewed with a lot of mobile startups that take the take-home project route. So I'm not really going to focus on the take-home project. I'm going to focus on the data structures and algorithms because that's a very controversial way to interview candidates, right? So, and a lot of people will, say, these data structures and algorithms, if I'm, say, a front-end web developer, I'm never going to use these algorithms. And that can be true, right? But a lot of people in the industry say you can get a lot from, people by asking these data structures and algorithms problems, such as, how do they think? What do they react with when they get stuck? How do they deal with time pressure? Because these are some aspects that are going to be important when you're on a job. A client's going to expect you to finish X project by a certain date. How can you handle the pressure, right? And then there are going to be other things like, are they working well with people who are, senior to them or their peers? How do they handle hints? Do they, and how do they collect requirements? And you know what? I do agree with them that these aspects are important. And, I also agree with the other camp that, this can be, kind of a waste of time at times because you're grinding leak code, you're studying these problems, which are, most of the time, if you haven't done them before, then there's a very low chance that you'll be able to actually solve them on the interview day, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the question, are they broken? And I'm going to say no, but the problem with the interview process is the lack of training and the lack of, there's a lack of, people who are trained the right way to actually do interviews. Because interviewing, as much as software engineering, is a skill that must be learned. And what I found through my experience going through all these data structures and algorithms interviews is there's a wide variety of people that will give you interviews. So there's just like a huge variation, and there's not a clear standard, which is my biggest gripe about the entire process, right? So you have some people that are excellent interviewers, right? They give you a lot of hints. They know exactly what to do. They're looking for the right signals that I mentioned earlier. And then you have other people who sit there, they stare at you, and they won't say anything, right? And that's a sign of a bad interviewer. And then you're going to walk out and you're going to think that you got railroaded, to be honest with you, right? You're going to think that you absolutely got wrecked because they weren't helping you along the process, right? And this is a big problem that I'm seeing with the whole interview process. Is, as a concept, it's not that bad. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But the problem comes with execution. Is a lot of these people shouldn't be in the interview room in the first place. It's almost like they're, just forced into the room because some guy got sick or, they couldn't find anybody else, when that really shouldn't be the case. So the question is, how do you handle this, right? Well, as a candidate, there's only so much that you can control. right? There's only so much that you can actually do if you get a terrible interviewer, right? So what you need to do is you need to think that if you get an interviewer that is not helping you along in the process, they're not being helpful, they're not giving you hints, they're giving you a vague description, and they're not trying to clarify requirements, that's not a reflection on you, but that's a reflection on them, right? So if you get this, then don't think that this is not a reflection of me and my abilities as an engineer. This is out of my control, right? So really what we need to do, to be honest with you, is and for those entrepreneurial subscribers out there, this could be a really good opportunity to make a business out there. So what you could do is you could provide training to these engineers to actually become better interviewers, and that's going to help with the candidate experience. Now, what do you do as a candidate? Or go back to that. So if you're a candidate, then you just need to move on. You need to go for volume, because ultimately there is an aspect of luck when it comes to the interview process. You know, you could be unlucky and get a question that you forgot to study last night, right? Or you could get an interviewer that isn't helping you along the process. Or on the flip side, you could get the question that you just happened to understand, and that was the question that you happened to study the night before, and that's good. So don't let it affect your future ones. Just know that, this is not a reflection of my abilities, and to keep moving on and go for volume. Now, obviously, this is easier said than done, especially with the kind of environment that, we are in. A lot of companies are doing layoffs and stuff like that, but that's really my opinions on the coding interview process. If you like these kind of commentary videos, let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel here. And I'll see you in the next video.